Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your every decision, what you eat, where you go, who you talk to, what you believe, is not entirely yours. That somewhere in the deep, humming servers of data centers, algorithms are pulling strings you didn't know existed. That your desires, preferences, and even your values are being shaped, not by reason or reflection, but by patterns, predictions, and profit margins. Now ask yourself this haunting question: do you even own yourself? In a world ruled by notifications, likes, facial recognition, and targeted ads, freedom has become a buzzword. But the Stoics, the ancient warriors of self-mastery, had a much more brutal and honest definition of it. Freedom is the ability to rule over your own mind. Not your Instagram feed. Not your lifestyle brand. Not the illusion of choice between 20 flavors of the same distraction. But mastery of your thoughts, emotions, and impulses. That's the battlefield they fought on, within. The ancient Stoic Epictetus was born a slave. Literally. His leg was broken by his master, and he lived most of his early life in chains. And yet, Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." He believed that true freedom was internal. It was not granted by society or revoked by government. It came when you stopped being a puppet to your passions, fears, and desires. Fast forward 2,000 years, and now, we are slaves in a different kind of empire, the digital empire. Our chains are invisible. They come in the form of algorithms that know when you're sad, what you're scared of, how long you stare at someone's photo, and when you're most vulnerable to buy something you don't need. It's psychological slavery wrapped in the shiny packaging of convenience. We often say, "I chose this." But did you? When your Netflix queue is designed by AI, when your TikTok feed is a reflection of your weakest temptations, when your political views are shaped by outrage engines, can you truly say your choices are your own? The Stoics taught that what is up to us is our judgment, our actions, and our will. But today, even those seem to be under siege. Let's pause. Because the idea isn't to paint the internet or AI as evil. The idea is to ask whether we've surrendered the very thing that makes us human, the ability to consciously choose. The Romans had a word for a free person, liber. It didn't mean someone who could do whatever they wanted. It meant someone who lived according to reason, someone whose inner life was guided by virtue, not by external forces. That's the Stoic ideal of freedom. And that's what we're losing. Seneca once wrote, "No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity." We are in an age of digital prosperity. Unlimited knowledge at our fingertips. Constant entertainment. Endless distraction. But here's the twist, it's not making us freer. It's making us dependent. Anxious. Reactive. Addicted to the next buzz, the next like, the next scroll. We're so stimulated we can't hear our own thoughts anymore. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum. Imagining worst-case scenarios to prepare the soul. What if, today, we practiced premeditatio technologicus, imagining a world where your very identity is a data set? Where your decisions aren't yours. Where your sense of self is manufactured by algorithms trained to exploit human weakness. Would that be enough to shake us awake? The ancient philosophers didn't fear hardship. They feared enslavement of the mind. And today, our enslavement isn't done by sword or shackles, it's done by persuasion. By invisible nudges. By predictive patterns that tell you what you'll buy before you know it yourself. Stoicism is not just relevant today, it's necessary. Because without inner control, we are puppets dressed as consumers. Look at Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth in his time, Emperor of Rome, writing in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He was the ruler of millions, but he reminded himself daily not to be ruled by his emotions. He battled the chaos of war, politics, and plague, and still found time to return to reason, to self-examination. Now contrast that with modern man, ruled by metrics, by likes, by followers. We trade our attention for amusement. We surrender our autonomy for speed. We're so desperate to be seen that we forget to see ourselves. Who are you when no one is watching? When there are no filters, no cameras, no retweets. That's the version of you the Stoics were interested in. That's the soul that needs saving. Stoicism doesn't ask us to abandon technology. It asks us to anchor ourselves in wisdom before we use it. To train the will, sharpen the reason, and purify the desires. To ask, is this good? Is this right? Is this mine to choose? In an age of infinite options, asking these questions becomes revolutionary. Because today, your emotions are being monetized. Your time is being harvested. Your thoughts are being modeled by machines. And if you don't pause, reflect, and reclaim your mind, you become a passenger in your own life. Stoicism is the act of gripping the wheel again. Of saying, I will not be baited by outrage. I will not chase likes like a hungry ghost. I will not outsource my thinking to trending topics. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In a world where everyone is trying to be viral, being unknown is an act of rebellion. Choosing stillness over stimulation, reflection over reaction, virtue over validation. That's how you reclaim yourself. So what does it mean today to own yourself? It means turning off your phone and listening to your breath. It means sitting with discomfort without needing to fix it with food or dopamine. It means choosing your values rather than inheriting them from Twitter. It means asking, every day, what is mine to control, and focusing fiercely on that. It means saying no to manipulation, to marketing, to mental clutter. It means remembering that you are not your brand, not your content, not your algorithmic reflection. You are a soul, capable of wisdom. That wisdom doesn't need followers. It needs silence, study, and strength. The Stoics trained daily. They examined their conscience. They practiced gratitude. They prepared for death. Why? Because they wanted to live. Really live. Not exist in a state of constant distraction. But to be awake. Present. Free. Isn't that what we long for? The truth is harsh, but it's freeing. If you don't train your mind, someone else will. And they already are. Whether it's corporations, governments, social platforms, or even your own unchecked impulses, there are always forces trying to own you. But the Stoics believed you could resist. Not by fighting the world, but by mastering yourself. Ask yourself, when was the last time you chose something without influence? When did you last say no to something popular because it wasn't right for you? When did you last delay gratification, not because you had to, but because you wanted to become stronger? These are Stoic questions. These are the exercises that make you sovereign again. Because if you can't say no, you aren't free. If you can't sit in silence, you aren't free. If you can't face discomfort, you aren't free. Freedom is not about having more options, it's about needing fewer. It's about being undisturbed by what you can't control, and fully responsible for what you can. You don't own yourself just because you make money. You don't own yourself just because you have opinions. You own yourself when you have trained your mind to be unshaken, disciplined, and just. That's the path of the Stoic, and it's more radical now than ever before. Let them have the attention. Let them chase the clout. You chase the soul. Let them scroll endlessly. You study your mind. Let them react. You reflect. The world wants to pull you in 1,000 directions. But the Stoic stands firm like a rock in the river. And maybe, just maybe, if enough of us do that, we'll remember what it means to be truly human. To own not things, not images, not fleeting trends, but ourselves. To wake up not with anxiety, but with intention. To move through life not as pawns, but as philosophers. So next time you open your phone, ask, is this tool serving me, or am I serving it? When you feel the tug of comparison, ask, who told me I should be more than I am? When you are faced with outrage, ask, is this worth my peace? And when you're alone with your thoughts, Ask, am I free, right now, in this moment, or am I owned? Because freedom begins there. With that awareness. With that pause. With that simple, defiant act of choosing what is right over what is easy. The world may not reward it. But the Stoics didn't live for applause. They lived for virtue. And that's what we must return to. In the end, you may not be able to stop the rise of the machines. But you can stop yourself from becoming one. You can resist becoming a product, a trend, a reaction. You can be a soul, still, conscious, free. So ask yourself, honestly, bravely, do you even own yourself? And if the answer is not yet, then begin today. Begin like the Stoics did. In silence. In discipline. In truth. That is how you reclaim your freedom in the age of algorithms.